What's up, you guys? It's Breezy or Josiah here, back with a brand new video, and today I'm going to be talking about the reasons why I decided to cut off all my freeform dreads. I cut them a couple months back, and I'm going to get into all the reasons why I actually decided to cut them. But before we get into that, please be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. That way you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. But with that out of the way, let's get into the reasons why I decided to cut off all my dreadlocks. Alright, so the decision to actually cut off my dreads was not random. I had been contemplating cutting them for weeks before I actually went ahead and cut them in like August, I think. So there was multiple factors that led up to me actually deciding to cut them all off. And the first reason was congos. And if you guys have had dreadlocks, then you might have had experienced having congos within your dreads, and that's basically just when two or more dreads combine and form one bigger dread. And sometimes they look really cool and they make a person's hair look unique. But for me, I had way too many congos. For example, I had a huge one in the back of my head that you could see if you check out some of my dreadlock updates. I actually showed it on camera, but I had one huge congo in particular that was like 5 dreads all combined on the back of my head. I didn't really like the look of having huge congos in my hair, so that was one factor that led to me actually just deciding to get rid of my dreadlocks altogether. Another thing about the congos, it wasn't just that huge one congo in the back that I didn't really like. It was the fact that all of my dreads were trying to combine with each other, and it was getting really difficult for me to actually separate them. And some congos I just had to leave alone. Like, I didn't only have the one massive congo, I had congos all throughout my dreads. Like on the sides, especially where I'd lay my head when I was sleeping, I'd get a bunch of congos there that were like inseparable at that point. I'd have to like use scissors to get rid of them, which I didn't want to damage my hair and cut my hair in half basically. So yeah, the congos were a big issue for me. For some people, if they just want all natural looking freeform dreads, then obviously they won't mind the congos. Or also for most people, they can just split the congos. And the reason why my congos in my dreads got to the point where it was too much for me to handle is because I broke my elbow like last winter. I don't remember what month exactly, but sometime last winter I broke my elbow in a snowboarding incident, which is a story for another day. Let me know if you guys want to hear that story. But anyway, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, yeah. I broke my elbow, so I wasn't able to actually split the congos myself. I'd have to ask my mom for help, and obviously it's a chore for myself, so why would someone else want to take time nearly every day trying to split my own dreadlocks? So yeah, it was just a huge hassle at that point, and that was when my congos started to just get out of hand and my locks were just combining all over the place. So yeah, the first reason for me cutting my dreads off was congos and the issue of not being able to get rid of them, really. The second reason why I actually cut off all my dreadlocks is having scalp issues or dandruff, because I actually have like a really dry scalp, and I don't know if it's dandruff or not. I think it is dandruff, which it's like a really common issue, but I haven't dealt with it all my life. Only these past few years I've had to deal with a dry scalp, a flaky scalp, and whatnot, and it's really annoying and unpleasant, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know if you guys have experienced having a dry scalp or having dandruff. And having dreads with a dry scalp, it just made it even worse. And I know that there's ways that you can manage having a dry scalp with your locks, such as moisturizing your scalp with oil and whatnot, but I never really got into that, and I didn't really know how to go about doing that. So if any of you guys have experience with having dreads and a dry scalp, and you know kind of home remedies to fix that, leave them in the comments below. That way you can help out someone if they're having a similar issue. But anyway, for me, having that dry scalp, it was so unbearable. It was just really gross, and the fact that I had no way to really get rid of the dry scalp, it just kind of got worse over time instead of getting better. And I would even use tea tree oil, or not tea tree oil, but tea gel, and that's a dandruff shampoo, a dry scalp shampoo, and it's supposed to help a lot, but with my case it really didn't help me at all. And for those reasons, my dandruff also really led to me deciding to cut off all my dreads. The third reason for me cutting off all my dreadlocks is impatience. And what I mean by impatience is just seeing multiple flaws and things that I didn't like within my dreads. I was too impatient to wait it out and see how my dreads would look a few months down the line, for instance. Like, I didn't even make it to the 1 year mark with my dreads, and I'm sure that if I would have waited a good amount of time that I would have been more pleased with them. But in the end, I just decided that it was best for me to cut them all off and then maybe start a new set in the future one day. But another issue that I forgot to mention, I wrote down the other 3 reasons, but I forgot to mention the frizziness of my dreads. My dreads were so insanely frizzy that it really just didn't look pleasant to me, in my opinion. So this kind of goes along with the impatience reason, because if I would have waited or tried to combine some of the loose hair into my dreadlocks, then I really could have made my previous set of dreads work, but it was just to the point where I wasn't really happy with my hair, so I just decided to cut them off. And yeah, the frizziness was really a big factor because lots of my dreads had like loose hair on both sides, and you could also see that if you check out my dreadlock updates. I think that I might have shown the frizziness, or it was just obvious to see. Alright, so when I was recording that last clip, it cut short, so I got a little lost, but I know that I was talking about the frizziness of my dreads, and I think where I was trying to go with that is that the frizziness really made me self-conscious over my dreads because I didn't like to look at the frizziness and the loose hair on my dreadlocks, so I assumed that others wouldn't want to look at the loose hair or frizzy dreads either. So yeah, it was a factor, but I feel like the biggest overall reason for me cutting my dreadlocks was my impatience with them, because you really can't go into freeforming your dreads impatient, because it really is a big waiting game. And if you go into it expecting a desired look within a few months, then you might have to end up waiting a year, maybe even more than a year, to get that desired look that you had planned out in your head. Alright, so those were all the reasons why I actually stopped my dreadlock journey, but I did not want to make this video in order to discourage anyone from starting their dreadlock journey or encourage anyone to stop their dreadlock journey. I actually just wanted to make this as an explanation as to why I cut off my dreadlocks personally. And also, I just wanted to put it out there as information that could hopefully help anyone else growing dreadlocks or freeforming their hair. But this video was really difficult for me to make because I don't script any of my videos, and this was probably the most long-winded video I've ever made on my channel. It's literally just me sitting here talking to you guys, and it's something that I'm not really used to yet. Hopefully I'll get better at it because this video is really difficult for me to film. But anyway, if you guys got any value from this video or you enjoyed watching it, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated. And if you guys are new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, do all that good stuff. That way you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.